The noise rabbits make when you run them over the lawnmower is the worst.
Oh God.
All right,
It
we
is
ripped
the worst thing.
That's
on that note.
it's horrible.
No, it's
Good God.
no, like that's my reaction there.
I
It was
think I
like
would.
it just took me like warped me back to like being like 8 or 9 years old, and it was like,
You know how I usually start it like with just me saying "Welcome to Burpod." I'm starting it with that now today. I've started with like running over a rabbit with the lawnmower.
rabbits.
No,
That's
it was
how it's gonna
bad.
start. Welcome to running over a rabbit with the lawnmower with Ryan and Rickles.
that's right.
Today we have Leslie Wilcox and Evan Peters.
We're
Couple.
married, actually.
Wait, yeah. Did you guys take one of each other's names?
No,
You just,
Okay.
Like,
I'm
Well-
still Wilcox. Well, we might hyphenate it to Peacocks. Peters.
That'd be
and
pretty
Wilcox.
cool.
But we're not.
That would be a weird thing to
I
like.
don't think we would ever do
The
that.
paperwork on that would be kind of odd.
peacocks.
Like she's been in
Peacocks.
my phone as Peter's like hyphen, one of those hyphenated things forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where it's actually that's just been the contact card.
Okay.
Because I think, well, not I think. I mean, I was there when we got married. The lady behind the counter was like, "Well, what last name do you want?" And I
I said,
asked
"I'll keep
her, and she
mine."
was like, "I'll
It's
keep
fine.
mine." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's been working for you so far." So
Except we just moved and we had to change our addresses. And because I've been staying at my parents' house for a little while, we just changed our addresses to 2 different addresses. So all your stuff's under your address and my stuff's under my parents' address. So it looks like we're not married at all.
So yeah,
Oh, wow.
if you're to look it up, like in
Our bank accounts are the same, but I think I messed up on my work paperwork.
Is that for like your just like bills and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bills are fine.
fun.
Oh, bills are great. Yeah. Speaking of that, it's gonna be April 1st here.
Shit. You paid rent, right?
yeah, everything's paid up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the podcast, Leslie. I mean, you were here last time, so you know
Hi
how
again.
you know how it all goes. I guess it's just
Yeah.
us talking.
So what do
The
we?
mi- the
What's the
microphones.
script? I mean, we brought Leslie here today because she brought some.
My plan was just to have us all sit uncomfortably and silent as long as
Okay.
possible.
Oh no.
Like the new protest girl for
Huh?
gun violence. What was that girl we watched?
What?
Oh no!
Sorry. Yeah, the new.
Oh, those 2 kids,
right.
young kids, the young guy, and
I
the.
don't know what to think about this. It
I
was-
have no idea what you guys are talking about.
We'll tell you.
Okay.
You really have to prepare yourself. don't you?
So there's this girl that came out on TV, and really she gave this speech that's all over the news, and she does well actually at the beginning, but then it just sort of pauses for a long time, which is an example. It was like to pay the respects of all the people that died, right? It was the response time, and that part I got it. It was actually like really moving. Yeah, it's actually pretty rough, but it kind of fizzled out after like many.
Silence.
Yeah, like,
The
She
whole
lost
speech,
it.
the
She
speech.
started
she
losing it.
lost it. She
The
lost
speech
it.
was silence.
And so like at one part you start off strong and you feel for her. Well, you don't feel for her specifically. You feel for, who she's representing up there.
Yeah.
She, like a bunch of kids got killed, and that's horrible. Yeah, so
This has been like dark.
well,
Start off with slaughtering rabbits, and now we're
Killing
going to, like,
children.
Killing children. But please.
no, that just like warped me back there real quick where I was like, no, that's so this morning it was just kind of like, wow, that's really kind of forced after the fact. I mean, there's no way that could have been scripted, and I don't know if she was like waiting for the crowd to calm down or something,
It was a long
but
silence.
it was just a really long silence, and then it finished. But then she ran backstage, and like everybody was like, it was mixed feedback because like a lot of people were really happy about it. Clearly,
Did the John Travolta like?
but like you couldn't tell. No, you couldn't tell like how the crowd felt because each time they put up a scene, there'd be one person who was really happy about it, and there'd be one person that was like really upset about it.
Yeah.
Was that in DC yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Did they do protests across the country, or was it just DC?
I think it's across
Well,
yeah,
is it-
across the country, kind of like the
Okay.
Women's March.
Gotcha.
So
That's
admittedly,
what it reminded me of.
I don't know. I'm not like really into the protesting bit. Like, you go out and that's not where the decisions are made, like right outside the front door kind of thing. Like, you're not going to get a response at the front door.
Some guy's gonna look out the window like, oh shit. Well, guys, we got our answer now.
Right, exactly. You're not... Exactly. So, if you go up to a place and you knock on the very front door, you're not going to get the answer immediately. But then you get a ton of people that are going to knock on the front door. And they're all going to, like, instead of, like, asking the guy that literally just got there and knocked on the door and was like, hey, is anybody here I can talk to? The next person queued up behind him and was like, hey, is there anybody here that I can talk to? Can you ask the guy at the front of the line? And obviously he was like, oh, I'm still waiting on a response from, I guess there's nobody back. I'll knock again. And then you get a third person in that time that shows up and he's like, tapping the second guy in line. Hey, is there anybody at the door? Is anybody going to answer?
Oh God.
So I think you see where that's going.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of futility in the whole like putting it on TV and getting all excited about it and let's tweet about it. Like, let's protest right at the front door. I'm sure they'll come out and have papers ready to sign. And,
Like on spot.
Like,
Yes.
on the spot. Oh, actually, we were expecting your protest.
We brought a cake.
we had all of these documents prepared just for you to arrive. So, and then they're like, oh, great, terrific. But see, that wouldn't happen because if that were the case, the person would leave and the second person would come up and be like, is there anybody at the door? And he's like, the copy machine's broken. Like, what? Like, so, I don't know. Clearly, that's not happening. There's not a copy machine and a guy right behind the door.
I
just handing
understand the
them out.
meaning behind it. It's powerful and impactful,
Yeah.
but
No.
yes, it's not
Well, to get your
exactly.
image, like a image out, like
You have to
Make it
reserve
aware.
the right.
Yeah.
You have to reserve the right to feel like you're correct if you have an interesting conversation to back it up. Like, you can't just show up there with pitchforks and like torches and be like, "Listen, I'm not crazy." Like, yeah. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. So that was kind of like how that came off when she like fizzled off at the end. I was like, "There's no content."
how young is she? Is she still in high school?
It
Or
looked like it. Yeah, like 16
Okay.
or 17, maybe. That's what it looked like.
Is she talking about the one that doesn't have? She's like bald cut.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. She has no hair, which is a good look. I mean, it looks fine.
Yeah.
So it's Leslie in high school.
I did it.
I love it. It looked great.
You remember when she had her head shaved, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked fantastic. I loved it. But I really love her long hair. There's like this weird thing.
I need your mom to cut my hair.
Can you talk about what mom
All off.
related, right? Mom related. My mom had really long hair, and apparently when I was a kid, she cut it like half length or something like that, and it totally like wiped me. And I was like, "Get away from me! I don't know you. Who are you? You're not my mom. Like, what's happening right now?" And
For like days.
So, like, Leslie's
days,
like a-
he wouldn't like talk
like a
to his
dog.
mom. Yeah.
Leslie's always like, I'm gonna cut my hair. I want it to be bald again. I'm like, but you just spent like months going on about how you want to grow it out. And I'm like, you probably shouldn't cut it. It looks really nice the way it is. And she's like, no, I just want to cut it all off. 'Cause-
Shave it.
right, just totally get rid of it.
Where do these impulse decisions come from?
The curls. The curls are horrible. They knot. Like they curl up like into themselves and they knot and you're just like, can't brush it. It poofs like a poodle.
Right.
So you had your head shaved around the time you remodeled, right?
Yeah, that's when I went to New York.
You guys see that segue there? Huh?
Uh-huh.
There we go. No, so I actually
Yes.
had curly hair when I was born.
Did you? I actually
Well,
had red
not-
hair.
No, not when I was born. Actually, I had very curly hair all the way through high school.
I'm not a redhead anymore. My hair grows in blonde. I dye it. It used to
No,
be red.
Really?
It's still red.
Damn.
What?
Kind of. Ricky, what?
Wait, no, I kind of believe that. Wait.
Yeah, no, like it grows in blonde now. Like I was born a
Yeah.
redhead up to like 18. It was naturally red, and then it just like started coming in blonde
So
That's crazy.
your hair's
I
dyed
think
right
that
now?
usually
How long
happens
has it been
slightly
growing
younger.
like that?
since I was 18. When I went to
Really?
New York. So the first time I ever dyed my hair was when I went to New York. They put stuff in it. It was really short, and then it never grew back red. It started growing in blonde.
Oh, my mind just fucking.
Yeah.
So it- that's
I have
not
baby
genetic.
pictures.
Wild.
I have baby pictures on my phone of it just being like fire orange red.
Yeah.
All the way to like 18, and then just started coming in blonde. dirty blonde. So.
Okay. Well, like I said, that's weird. So your modeling days had to do. You can measure it through like the color of your hair almost.
Kind of. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So like
I wore a lot of wigs and had a lot of weaves, and it was uncomfortable.
So how long were you a model for?
Remind me of swim team, all the hair dyeing. I was on swim team. 8 years, 9 years.
4 years modeling, total.
In New York City?
No, year and a half going up there. But I did work out of DC, and I didn't go to high school graduation. I pretty much just Mike didn't know I graduated from high school. He didn't show up to graduation. I saw him 10 years later. He was like, "Did you graduate?"
I remember.
I moved to New York.
I remember you being so resistant against going to the high school graduation too. Like, I don't want to go. No.
Right. I didn't go to mine. I was working.
I went to mine.
You know what I was doing? I was lifeguarding.
Nice. That's a good excuse. I gotta save lives. I don't have time for graduation right now.
I mean,
Stop running.
I went to my sister's graduation and I couldn't see anything. I was shoved outside out the back door basically.
Yeah.
It was swampy and hot and the whole family's there.
It's horrible.
Right, and then you're there and then they're like, "Okay, now that you're here, go outside." And don't see anything. I'm like, "All right, it's raining." And they're like, "Well, that's fine." But so my graduation, it was me and all my buddies were working at this pool. It was awesome. It was literally when people talk about the best job ever. I go back to
Being a lifeguard.
It's great. Period.
I don't remember what I was doing.
Yeah,
I just
it's
was
great.
I'm not going. I think I was just.
I did it for my parents because I didn't want to do
Yeah.
it. And I know my mom would have been upset, and probably my dad too, my grandparents. And I was like, all right, I'll do it.
I did it.
But I really
Yeah.
did not want to do it. I think I got super stoned before it too, and it went.
Shoot.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I do remember with I'm not gonna say his name because I don't know if he wants to.
Right.
You
No.
were a stoner in fucking
Yeah,
senior
dude.
year, man. You were a real big stoner.
I was a stoner for a couple years. Now I can't even. I don't even
Really?
want to
Stomach
smoke it. No, man.
What does it do? You
Freaks
just
starts
can't?
freaking me out. I used to be
Really?
so okay with it and have fun time and smoke it all the time, and I eventually turned into paranoia where I just had to stop. It was
Yeah.
freaking me
No
out.
kidding.
I was I could feel my heartbeat. I can feel my fucking veins flowing with blood. Is my head gonna explode? What the fuck's going on? I just completely freaked
Right.
myself out with
Yeah.
it.
Right.
I was I'm done. This is too much.
So
I quit smoking pot when I moved to New York because I was 18. I turned 18 because I smoked in high school, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm an adult. I'm gonna get in trouble. I can't."
Yeah.
And I went to New York,
yeah,
started drinking.
What
at
year did-
18.
I didn't smoke or drink for. I don't even know. It was after I was
20.
already 20. I smoked.
And drank for the first time ever.
Oh,
No, I
wow.
was 20.
Yeah, he-
I was 20.
Nothing.
I was 22 when I drank for the first time ever.
I think mine was.
You hear the dogs?
Damn dogs.
Oh, the mics are definitely picking that up.
Yeah.
Precious.
There's some loud.
It's just the dogs.
You got to do the little boop, intermission, hang by. We've got technical difficulties. But no, I didn't shoot.
So you had no interest or were curious about it at all, when you were younger, especially
No,
late
it was
teens.
really sad.
It was really sad. God.
No, this is a sad one. This is I'm trying
Marijuana
to,
killed my mother and raped my father.
Oh my God.
No, it wasn't marijuana actually. My cousin apparently got in really heavy stuff.
Oh. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just when you take Dare in school,
Yeah.
you just listen to him. You're like,
So you listened to Dare? I was influenced by Dare.
To
They
do-
were my
to do
gateway.
drugs.
They were my
I don't know, right? Okay.
Well, the
so,
people
I
that
have a
around
picture
you.
of me in 7th grade. No, it was it was 4th grade. It was something little. I have a picture of me
Yeah,
holding
it
my,
was very young.
and it was
when
my marijuana project, and it's me holding this pamphlet I made of facts on smoking
So
marijuana.
no, I thought it was
I was homeschooled. So
I always
homeschool
saw
group.
when you're growing up, you have all this time to you have time. You're at school for the most part. Like you're like fed your plate of studies you got to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, you've got a ton of time to like focus on something that like when you're like, oh, I'd rather be doing something more interesting right now.
Yeah.
You just go and do it when you're a little kid, right?
Yeah.
And when you smoke, it's not.
It wasn't there.
It wasn't. Well, no. It's like I don't think that would be like the more interesting choice. It's just like.
Option A seemed much better than option B at the time.
Yeah, when you had like plenty of time to go do whatever you wanted, and energy, and you weren't worried about like.
Before your back hurt. No, then your back hurts. And you gotta smoke
I
more.
could get in a stick fight with Ryan, or I could smoke weed.
Or we
But I
could get
could-
stoned and have a stick fight.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, but okay. Well, so no, I mean I started smoking because of you. Definitely,
Sorry.
definitely.
No, it's weird. Like what happens around you, what dictates whether you smoke or not. Because I had like a couple friends that got into like hard drugs, and that made me never want to try those
Yeah.
drugs
Yeah.
ever. Because I was like, well, if that can happen, what's to stop it from happening to me? Because I know a bunch of friends that got into coke, and to this day, I've never touched coke because I'm like, but it did that to them.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, you can see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
like
yeah.
them being pulled down with drugs. I mean, there's a lot of people that I knew.
There's
Yeah, so I can totally understand if like you
I
had
get it,
someone like
yeah.
that impacted you, where you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go stick fight instead.
I mean, even now when I smoke, you still or when you drink or when you like don't sleep enough, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like when you don't sleep enough, you gotta stop and take a nap, or you gotta prep yourself for the next step that you gotta take. I mean, I've made like insanely long drives, and had to like call it quits nearby the ending, or like Leslie would pipe up and be like, it's really late, we should stop.
Yeah.
Like, I just have to keep going.
And and like over the years, like she's right. So I mean, there's moderation with everything. Moderation.
I think I waited
even
till
in
I was like
moderation, right?
25 to do all the drugs.
All of them. there's just
I lived in New York, and then I remember being in the back of a club one night, and like someone's had like a silver platter of like Coke or something, and I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just dancing.
Yeah, I guess.
But I was
it's
like, I'll just.
so that
do it.
exists in the modern. I mean, I guess I didn't doubt it, but I've never met anyone that like has encountered it. Like that exists, where people are coming with platters of Coke in the modeling world.
It wasn't
Oh.
like every night, but yeah, it happened like
It
once
was
or
in-
twice.
It was everywhere. It was everywhere.
The cocaine.
No, because like I went up to New York with her.
just nuts. The whole thing was nuts.
Yeah, we would
It's
go
a-
to New York, and like you'd be like, come to this club with me, and I'm like, there's literally cocaine, and like everything's free.
Yeah, like I told you, like
Like
I was 21, like when I went to a bar for the first time, and I didn't know how to order a drink at a bar. I was like, I don't know bar culture. Like I know like nightclub culture.
Oh, so okay.
Like
I see what you're
I was
saying.
used to like
yeah.
going out and like VIP, go in the front of the clubs at like 18. You
Here's
take a credit
champagne,
card, but
here's-
yeah. But you don't even take your ID because you're like just 18. But they'll let you in, and then you go and like do
there was
whatever.
no weed though.
Oh,
at the
there was
box,
just
there was
all,
none, man,
like-
no.
The downtown
like-
clubs had.
So why didn't we go to any of those? Those seem actually fun.
They were
Like-
too. No, yeah.
Oh,
Everybody drank. It's just.
So did I already ask this? Like, what got you into the modeling? Like, how did you go
I
into
shaved
that
my
world?
head.
Is that really all that started it?
Yeah.
Really?
So like, who saw you was just like, I need to put her in print and take her to New York.
So, trying to remember. Nick, the photographer, got in touch with him online. He wanted to shoot photos of me, just like be my muse or something. Like I need photos for a portfolio. And then he was like, I have this woman who manages models internationally. You need I'm gonna put her in touch with you. I was like, this is stupid. Okay, like whatever. Everybody said I should go do it, and then she calls me. He sends her like a photo. She calls me. She's like, I'm in New York for Fashion Week right now. Like I'm out of town, but I'm gonna sign you. I'm gonna get you in New York. But I just want you to know, like I'm gonna do that. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like hung up the phone. Like it's like the whole thing sometimes can just be
It played out like it was playing out like a bad
like I didn't
sitcom
believe
type
it.
thing.
Right? Like, yeah. Like I
Right,
didn't.
right.
Yeah. And
no, and like she'd be like telling me this, and I'm like,
yeah, and he'd be like, "Are you
wow,
sure?"
man, you're really lucky.
No joke. A week and a half later, I had an apartment on like the Upper East Side of New York. Not mine in my
Holy
name,
shit.
but I was living with like an agent through the agency that signed me, and I literally started working to the day I moved. I like went up there and went to a casting for like Marc Jacobs.
Wow.
Walked out because I couldn't walk in heels, and they got mad at me. They signed me. So I was like 18. Like I ran around barefoot my whole life, and they were like, "Yeah, come up here and work." And I was like, "Great." And I get up there and like, "Now walk in heels." And I was like, I don't know how. And they were like, God damn it.
So you weren't like these like all these little girls that grow up like I want to be a model. Like you were literally just kind of like stumbled into the world like I guess I'm a natural at this, and then you just kept going with it.
Not a natural though. No. Because I was working with girls that came from Russia that have been doing this for like since they were like kids because they're trying to get out of Russia. So they like grow up and they get to New York through photographers and stuff. So they've been in front of cameras like their whole lives. So I show up and they're like.
That's rough.
They're 18 and they're like killing it, and I'm like, I just got here. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm from Manassas, Virginia.
I don't have hair, but like somebody wants me here, and I was like, it was pretty intimidating at first.
Yikes.
Do you think you would have been a model if you had never shaved your head? Like, you think someone still would have saw pictures and been like, yeah, I gotta take pictures of her?
I would say
No.
probably.
Maybe, but no.
I'd say almost definitely, actually. Like if you.
But the shaved head thing is kind of dramatic.
Well, you're
No, because there's creeps out there.
Well, your natural body frame is like model-like too, isn't it? Like long, tall, long, slender.
No, not with. Well, yeah, okay, yes, I'm tall and thin, but like not what they were marketing me for. So they were marketing me for high fashion runway, like high end runway for fashion week and stuff. And so I get up there and they're like, "Your legs are too big. Your muscles are too big. Can you like roll around and like not walk so like you get smaller?" And I was like,
Holy shit.
Oh shit! You told me they asked you to go in a wheelchair, right?
yeah.
Like,
And I was like, I'm not
Oh
rolling
my
around, man.
God.
Asked her to go in a
It's
wheelchair?
that like
It's-
backwards, all of it. Yeah. And like I finally like so like about a year in, I hit a point where I was like, I gotta go back to school and like do something with my life because I can't. Then I did health, and nutrition.
There you go.
Yeah, you
That's
came
crazy.
you came up to visit me one time, and you were like, you opened the fridge, and you were like, you have an eggplant
No, there was like an egg
and like a bottle of water,
X-Lax.
like that, like
Yeah.
in the entire fridge.
And like maybe
I lived with
some,
like 8
dried
other
wheat
models.
or something. And like I'm looking at everybody like, man, you guys are like, do you eat though? And they're like, well, clubbing. We gotta get tiny little
It was
hamburgers
free.
and like,
are-
yeah, I mean.
And you don't
for-
get paid. I didn't have money. So like a lot of the times when I was there, I didn't have to pay to live there, but I had to pay to like maintain life there. So like I didn't have to pay utilities or rent, but I
Had to go
pay-
buy toothpaste and stuff like that.
and food,
Yeah.
which was never food. I just waited. I just waited until like 10 p.m. to
It
be
was,
fed alcohol.
It was like.
I got sick. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough when I got
But it
up
was
there.
fun.
You were unhappy when I showed up. And no, I was there for like quite a few weeks with her just because, oh gosh, what happened? The company I was working for went out of business and I had the money left over after it was out of business and I was like, I just turned.
So you started making trips up to New York.
Yeah, like you take like the Chinatown bus or Bolt bus or... Bolt bus was nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, free Wi-Fi. The Chinatown bus, you had to like sign on, and it never worked right. Anyway, so I take Bolt bus up there. It was like $18 if you get your tickets early. Otherwise, it was like crazy late.
Yeah,
like
all night
crazy
long.
late. Oh, that'll be $300 for like a mediocre bus ride. Yeah.
From like here to New York. Like
Yeah,
on a
from-
bus.
So like
yeah. So I would like
DC to Manhattan.
Holy shit. That's
right. So I would
you need a plane ticket cheaper than that.
Exactly. So I would buy like
No.
well in advance. And this was, I don't remember how old I'm so bad with like time.
It doesn't matter. You were probably like 20 if I was 18. But I moved out of the Upper East Side and into Brooklyn with a bunch of other models. So I was paying, so what came out of my money that I made modeling, the agency would take. So I would get $750 taken out of my paycheck for rent-ish, which they never actually did. So I never actually paid rent, like I said. So, but 'cause I never signed a contract. They failed on that part. But there was 8 of us living in a 4-bedroom apartment, and every single one of us was paying $750 sharing rooms.
Except for you.
That's how expensive it was. No, I shared a room.
No, it was
Oh.
rough.
So he would come to
Holy
visit.
shit.
And I would just like be like,
Yeah, so
I'm just gonna stand out
it
of
was
the way
expensive.
and like try not to like get your stuff all muffled up. But like since they were out all night, so like they were in and out, right? So they'd have one that would be there for a couple weeks or like days or something, and then they'd, I don't know, get hungry and leave or something.
I'm hungry now.
We gotta go to the bodega and get
They're like,
coffee.
I
see a burger.
Go to Shake Shack.
Yeah, they'd get hungry, so they'd leave. And then a new one would come in, but there was like a few that stayed there. There's Pavel and Aubrey. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Aubrey would play Diablo 2 with me.
Dude.
Yeah, that was the best.
She did a lot of work. She
She
in,
did. Sorry,
yeah.
I just snapped that. It didn't have a cable going through it, so
Idle hands are the devil's plaything.
that's right. So let's see. You got really upset when they painted you green.
Silver. I was body painted for a job one time when he was up there. Totally body painted. my
Head to toe, body painted.
Yeah, it was for a French comedy short film. So it wasn't like a print magazine. We weren't
course
shooting
it's French.
pictures. Yeah, it was like a 20-minute comedy film that took place in a sex shop. So like they had to hire I don't know what the plot line was. Like I was just there to like stand in because I was hired to do it with one other girl, and they body painted us silver. Head to toe. I was wearing like
Oh my goodness.
a tiny thong, and that was it. And like it didn't come off for 3 days. I had to
Oh,
sit in the
God.
bed. It was horrible. I'll never be body painted again.
Gee, did you ever see the footage of it?
No, and I've tried to get online. There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen that I've done.
Oh, I'm sure.
There was one night, so I moved back from New York. I think I got a job working like retail somewhere. I was back at Nova doing classes, and I was laying in the shed where I lived when I moved to my parents' house. It was like 10 p.m., and my phone starts blowing up. Like, your family, friends from high school, people are just like, you're on TV right now, you're on TV. And I'm like,
Really?
what do you mean I'm on TV? Like, I haven't been in New York in like 6 months. Like, and they're like, you're on Project Runway. And I was like,
Whoa.
what?
Yeah, I remember that whole. I never saw it, but I remember
Neither
holding the
have
back
I.
hole.
It was like I wasn't in an entire season. It was just like one episode where I was in for like a minute or two or something, and like reality TV is all fake. So they're filming something that I signed a release for that they said wasn't happening. Just so you guys know, like
Deep.
Yeah.
they're like here. I think it was a casting for like they would hire models to like walk around in restaurants for events because they want like pretty people to be there and they would pay you.
It makes people buy more.
And they were like,
food
but you
'cause they
have
wanna
to
see the
sign a
waitress again.
release for this
Right,
casting.
backing
And I
up
was
off
like,
the money.
that's not a thing. You don't sign releases for castings, meaning you can share this footage that you're taking of me just being here.
Right.
And for
Sure.
not getting paid. And that's what ended up on TV.
Ah, jeez.
And I was like, God
Of
damn
course, yeah. And you get like what?
They
like
got
80
me.
bucks. You get like 80 bucks and you cycle along. You know, you move down the line.
So what was the clip that they got of you?
It was like a season premiere. So it was like the opening to a season of
geez.
something.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So like everybody was watching it.
I'm Leslie. I'm here to win it.
No, I don't think I was even talking. I think I was just walking or
in the
something.
background.
Like I was doing like the catwalk for like people or something, which wasn't cute. I'm not.
I don't know if I've seen that. Like
I've
the
never seen it,
catwalk.
but I
like
heard-
so she can walk. She does.
I used to
runway,
teach kids how to
actually.
do it at
She's
work.
Really
Because
good
Oh, really?
it would be
at,
humorous
like-
to me. I'd be like, here,
So
just
she like
walk while you're
naturally
back.
walks around on like her tippy toes, like she right at the ball of
ball?
your foot, yeah,
Uh-huh.
as opposed to the heel. Is there anything in between the arch, right?
Yeah.
So with like high arches, and she runs around on her tippy toes, and everyone notices. Everybody picks up on it and be like you really run around like a dancer or something.
Like a cat.
Yeah, like a ballerina. But I mean, everybody, yeah. And then I actually started like walking like her, just being with her. Like, I mean, my calves have just gotten massive.
Yeah, just
I've
tippy
been-
toe around.
For like 10
barefoot.
years, lived like tipping toeing around with her, and I've got great calves. I've got a big old tattoo on the back from your tiptoeing. That it's
Stretched
a big
out?
It's a big paper airplane.
Stretched
it's not
out.
really stretched out. Here.
I'm kidding.
Show the viewers.
All right. So, oh, jeez.
Man, that
Right.
Paper
so,
airplane.
those are great calves.
Thank you.
I'm really impressed.
I got
beacon.
this.
I didn't get work because
So
of my
that's-
calves.
That's a cool tattoo, man.
I put Leslie out of work with these calves. She was like, I'm a model. And I was like, but. No, that was a paper airplane because we used to throw paper airplanes at each other in high school. Well, I did. She'd send me a couple back every once in a while. But they were just
like
love
one.
letters, right? And sometimes they were empty. But it's the thought that counted.
I had boxes of paper
It
airplanes.
became
We
like
lived across the street.
It became like
growing
a
up.
daily thing. It wasn't even like a monthly, weekly, or whatever. It was just... I had to let her know, like, because she can be moody, admittedly. And I was just like, well, I don't have anything nice to say, but I'm thinking of you. So I'd like slip them through like the window or, you know, whatever. And sometimes they'd have little...
You would draw like
love
horrible
letters.
pictures on some of them. They would have like rabbits dying or something. No, I'm just kidding.
Somebody running,
I don't want to go back there. I don't know.
using a lawnmower
No,
to run
there
over
was all
rabbits.
kinds.
Yep.
No, it was rough. The rabbits. I don't want to go back to the rabbit moment. That was traumatizing. So
There's no
eventually,
rabbits in
at
New
one
York.
point, I had filled her entire car with paper airplanes.
You did.
And one of you guys might have been there.
I wasn't me.
It was Dan, probably.
Dan
No,
Dan
Mike.
was probably there.
No.
I don't know. Somebody was there.
Said Clay time.
He was in
Clay.
places.
He was in places.
He's been
Everybody's in
places.
places.
Yeah.
Here and
But
there.
It was
Yeah.
like, gosh, it must have been like 400, 500, 300, maybe.
My
I think
car
I
was full.
remember-
I opened the door and they just like fell out. And I was
like
like,
a pack of paper. Shout out paper companies.
Dunder Mifflin?
Staples and
Yeah,
just got
Dunder
a
Mifflin. Let
500
me get
sheet.
like a 300 pack of just regular. I mean, if you want to print the instructions on how to put the paper airplane together, that's fine. Maybe we can work something out. But you just give me the 300. I'm gonna fold them all up and just fill a car with them. And they're like, then what? And I'm like, you're just gonna get
empty
thrown out. Well, they actually got saved in a folder for a long, long, long time. Yeah. So then when I up and left Manassas, things weren't so good around here, or at least.
what?
No. Here, like when you left and went to school.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason behind my tattoo. Yeah, you have tattoos.
Whoa. Weird.
Where did that
You know,
appear?
you don't just like go get one and not mean it, right?
Unless you're
Some-
drunk.
No, some people do. Some
Have you
people.
done that?
Yep. Look at his chest. Open up your chest.
Yeah, I got a stupid tattoo on my chest, and
Did
does
you
it
really
say?
when you were drunk?
when I was
What is
drunk,
it?
it
That's
says
rough.
PMA.
Can the camera see it?
I mean, I'm
sure.
sure they've seen it before. I try to cover it up as much as I can because I fucking hate it. But
I have a bunch of tattoos and I love them.
I like my 3 tattoos.
I have a bunch of tattoos and I love them to death. But so like we have matching finger tattoos.
I
But
noticed
so-
that.
Right. We can talk about that. We can go through the tattoos in a second.
Talk about this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we got.
jeez.
We have so much that we have to get through. We have plenty of time. We got time.
Which one are we going with? Sorry.
You gotta bring Evan every week.
I went
He'll
on a
just, he'll just
tangent.
talk.
Yeah.
He just goes like.
yeah, it just goes,
like, that was,
goes.
Like as soon as you hit the camera, my brain was like, "What are we gonna talk about today?" And then it hit me, and I was like,
Oh wait.
"Everything."
Yeah.
just talk.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
this is the way I imagine your brain is working right now. Just some guys at a filing cabinet. It's like, what memory, and then just ripping everything out and throwing it. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
just
we got
like
it all.
throwing it all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you put it back in the filing cabinet and you put it away
Put it away. Yeah.
and see it next year.
We
I
got
guess.
the
Yeah.
we got the paper airplanes. That's where we were at. You're,
No, I know. I was going off on the new what you do with filing.
But that
and
went
filing
from
cabinets.
calves,
Yeah.
calves to paper.
No, they're all the same thing. The paper airplane's on the calf. Come on, hear me out. Packed up everything in my little Corolla for like $400. Went to go propose to her. Of course, she said no at first. Well, she's actually said yes, and then she was like, maybe not.
And then yes again, and then
And
maybe
then
not
yes
again.
I don't remember the second maybe not.
It's of
don't know.
indecisiveness.
I don't remember.
No, there's
Yeah.
only one maybe not. I would remember that. Because I
No,
remember
it
the
was
first
one.
time you did the like, maybe not. I was like, whoa. I guess I should just ask her
Did
before
this-
I do some stuff.
Did that feel just like a
Political.
spear through the chest?
It was the worst feeling of my life.
I'm sorry.
Because I can just imagine just be like, she said yes. Then
Yeah,
no.
and then like a few days later, you're like, wait, I thought about
but
it though.
So, like you sit there and you're like, she said yes, and then like in a timeline after that point, whatever she says, like you're my wife now, so whatever's best for you. And she's like, no, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just keep paying the rent and we'll keep getting groceries and
More rats.
figure out what I'm gonna do, right? And then I just like started working, hanging off the side of buildings and stuff. And you got to do what you got to do. And there wasn't much of a reason for me to come back here. And that paper airplane signifies that because I got it on the way there. So
That was like my.
it's the last one I
ring.
had to actually fold.
He asked me to be married.
Right.
That tattoo.
Okay.
Engagement ring.
It's the last paper airplane I ever had to fold. Like I still will do it like to be cutesy and like leave a post-it note or something, but it's not like the full document sheet
had
that says.
Boxes of paper.
That is pretty adorable. Now that the
Yeah,
story's
it's-
come full circle.
Yeah.
It's cool you get the
Yeah,
tattoo
it took
too,
a
man.
minute.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We took a detour there, but we got there.
Well, I mean, like we got off on like an emotional foot there, and I've been trying. No, with my cousin. That actually
yeah.
tore me up. But he's the reason I started playing music. He's great. And so I got that paper airplane, and it has a flight number on the wing, which is 8/31/12. Yeah, but it was the most perfect day.
Yeah, the most perfect day, and I left. We were talking about that last night, remember?
Yeah.
You were like, it was the perfect day, and then you were like, bye.
And that was like that was the day that I realized like, well, so you did basically break up with me on that day.
Kind of. But it doesn't
Kinda.
matter.
She was like,
We're
this
married,
is the
so
perfect
it
day.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you got there. You guys got the happy
No.
end
That
result.
story, the story develops further from there. That conveys its significance. And I was like, that was a perfect day. I'm gonna marry her, or I'm gonna try at least. And it was from that day
After I
that
was
like
like-
while she was like telling me like, peace, I'm going to Radford, I'm gonna go to school and do my thing. And you're not really part of that plan right now. You should follow your heart. I was like, I will. And then like in the back of my mind, I was like, I really love her. And my heart said, and she's like, but not if it's for me. And I was like, so do or don't? What do we?
I'm confused
And then I
here.
was like, you know what?
That's how I am, I guess.
And then I was like, I think I'm probably just gonna ride my own horse here. And she said, follow your heart. And I'm gonna do that. I don't think I should tell her that I'm gonna do that. So then I quit the band, right? Quit the band that I was playing in.
I remember that.
And that was fun.
Battle of York.
And not the quitting. The quitting sucked. But the
The band part.
Yeah.
The music was nice.
It was fun. It was great. And on the way to Richmond with all my shit, got that tattoo, or it was like the tattoo in the show, and then to Radford, and then now I'm back here.
Wait, the show before you left, that was the one in Richmond at the food truck festival, wasn't it?
That's the last time I was in. Like that was
That was
Were you
that was
there?
the trip.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
notice that my $400 Corolla was filled to the ceiling?
Yeah, I remember we were talking
With-
about this. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to Radford. And I was like, oh, man, cool. See you later. And then,
And I don't think anybody saw us for 5 years.
yeah, you
But
Yeah.
That's what happened after New York. Yeah.
Moved
After high
to
school, man.
Southern Virginia.
No, I mean I don't really care where I'm at. I wanted to be with her. Like if she went to school in Idaho, I'd go to Idaho. If she went to school in Toronto, I'd be like, yes, I'm gonna go to Canada now. It's just, I don't know.
And it's true. New York is like the loneliest place in the world. Like it doesn't matter how many people are there. It's like it fucking sucks.
yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I've driven through it.
Yeah,
Never been in.
But like, so
I like New York as a place to visit.
I had visited it, and I was like, yeah, I could totally live here. And I moved up there, and I was like, this is not cool anymore. Like, I'd have to take my laundry to the laundromat and drop it off. And one time my blankie was in it. I used to still sleep with my blankie at like 18 and 19. And then I didn't have money to pick up my laundry because you paid when you picked it up, so I couldn't sleep with my blanket for like a few nights.
Oh shit.
It was horrible. That was the biggest meltdown I had.
I want to go to New York and check out the comedy clubs. And I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But
There's
is
so
there
many
any-
stories that come out of that city. It's just kind of just like it's just like a
Yeah.
fucking zoo. It seems
Lot
like
of-
just a human zoo.
A lot of stories, a lot of superheroes, but
I
there's a whole
was-
other different
Where do
thing.
you think you left your blanket?
Well,
Well, you don't
it was-
have
no,
you
no,
don't
I
have
left,
it now.
I left Blanky in Reno, Nevada when I was driving cross
Okay,
country
so-
in a hotel.
Oh.
That's
So
a good place to
Blanky left.
Right. So
Reno.
Reno. Anybody in Reno?
I lost my favorite
See,
hat in Las
I
Vegas,
was
so
22.
If you can describe your blankie, you might have it like somebody's like, no, I found that blankie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mail it
we have
back
a
to
very
them.
wide audience. We reach a lot of people.
Right.
I need Blanky back. I hope it's not in the trash.
Or is there anything about New York that you miss? Like anything about the modeling, like that you're like, I would live that again.
No.
It's pretty much fuck that place.
I never went back. No, I left and I never went back. The open schedule. So like the only cool thing about it was like you have castings. They'd email you at the beginning of the morning. They'd be like, you have these 3 castings you have to go to, but they'd be an open. So you'd have like a 3-hour window. So you'd like go into New York City every day and you'd be like, well, as long as I get over there at some point in the next 3 hours, and then at some point 4 hours later make it to this place for another casting, and then you just hang out in Manhattan. That's what I did. I just hung out in the city. And then I would just like bing to places and go like do castings and then like do jobs. So just having like that open schedule is what I miss. But other than that, not really the work. It was a lot of heels, a lot of not eating.
All right. Now, this is something that still surprises me that you told me before we got to the podcast.
Yes.
Is she's telling us all about her extravagant lifestyle and stuff, right? Like,
It wasn't,
clubs and
though.
stuff. Okay.
It wasn't.
Okay, hi. Okay.
I mean, well, but you gotta like think like how much it was on my standards. It was extravagant. Like
it just
because
sounds
you
like
think,
it. I mean,
like-
Okay,
not
okay.
It's just
extravagant
different
Well,
from
no,
what we've
like-
done, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's
Well-
like it's like the image of it's extravagant.
That's
Does that
true.
make sense?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
So
going
like,
to.
so
But the
whole
nitty-gritty
thing
sucks.
was like, it,
Oh,
yeah, it's like
absolutely.
Instagram.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you go out and like you live this life and you put pictures online. You're like, this is what I'm doing. But like when you're not doing that, I was living in like a crumpled, broken down like brick apartment
Yeah.
in
With
Brooklyn
With 6 other
with
people.
8 other.
Yeah,
Well, I was the
7,
8th, but
6.
7 other people
Depends which time of the month.
that
it
could
was,
hardly
so,
afford
like-
food, and because we were working high fashion doesn't pay. So commercial modeling pays, but when you work high fashion, do runway and like print work like this, they do trade work. So it's like, here, model these clothes, and then you can keep them, and then you're like, I would never wear this in real life. I don't need this. I can't. I can't
Right.
eat this. You know what I mean? So it's like it's great that it's $1,000, but I can't eat that. You know, so you can't really like live off of what they give you there.
Yeah.
But what I was working towards is she said she's never been in a limo before.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and
Okay.
doesn't that seem like a world that would have limos in it where you'd be
I've
like,
never
No
been in one.
limos. No limos.
but
It-
it seems like something that would
No.
be part
Well,
of it,
so
right?
like my perspective coming into it, like, and the reason people think it's like glamorous or whatever is the amount of time spent doing glamorous things, right?
Coke
Right,
rooms.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as a visitor,
clubs.
like you said, if you would visit New York City, it's amazing. There's like the buildings are incredible, they're huge. There's
I
lights
worked
everywhere.
in the most amazing
There's-
places.
Right.
I visited you would do work out of people's apartments. So I would do jobs from penthouses to like.
So you get to see a lot of
so
cool
I
stuff.
hung out in places for like an entire day like that. But I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm going home now. Like,
It's one of those
you
cases
know?
like, you are what you eat or you are what you do or like so if you're into like really glamorous stuff, doing really glamorous stuff all the time, that might work out
Right,
perfect.
yeah.
Like that's fantastic if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, you always know a couple friends that are like just super tied to the Instagram, tied to the Tumblr. Well, when Tumblr was a thing, or whatever. Remember LiveJournal?
Yeah.
Oh God, or
Zanga.
Zanga.
Zanga. Yeah, I remember
Get some
Zanga.
Zanga going on.
Well, let's see the pictures that you're in so we can get a gist of your modeling.
This is
Quest.
2009, so 9 years ago, and this is a German high fashion editorial magazine. So,
There we have Leslie. So do you still have those eyebrows and that gold
I
hat?
wish. Yeah. So.
Can you tell
See-
us
what I
about
did-
them?
No. It's just a picture. I've
Okay.
always made pictures. I've done art. I've done photography. So it's just like another way of making pictures. I just got to be.
But why do you have like that
Subject.
face as if like
You have
someone's
to. Like, why do you have hands like that? They have to be delicate. My hands, I don't ever do that.
Yeah.
But you just
It's
have that
a-
face like
Well,
you
nobody does.
smelled
Like,
something
yeah.
really
How many
bad, but
Yeah.
you can't acknowledge it. You're just like, what's that smell?
Well, they're like attitude or I don't know,
Right. Like
whatever
how
they
many
say.
pictures do you see in a magazine where somebody was like looks
Really?
normal?
Yeah.
Right.
What I want to do is give them like a frown and be like, "This is really stupid. I don't care about any of this.
Right.
Like, what am I wearing? I'm not wearing anything. Sometimes I'm wearing feathers. I don't know. Like, I don't.
All right, can you give us any insight that like normal people wouldn't know about like the modeling world that someone would be like, oh wow, I didn't think about that.
Like you travel a lot. So I only worked in New York. I eventually was gonna be signed by other agencies in like Korea, Greece, and Paris, and I decided not to do that. But if you actually model for like a career, you're traveling all the time, all around the world. And it's alone. So you're not with people when you go to like other countries. Yeah. You have to like go
So you're not
maneuver.
like you're not in like in a tight niche of like modeling people. You're like, all right, you guys go there.
You kind of are, but then it's in
That'd
a
be really
different
lonely.
country. So you don't know. So the modeling industry is very small too. So like when I would go to castings in New York, I would see the same girls from different agencies. You kind of like become friends and like you go out together. But when you go to a different country, you don't speak the language. You don't,
Yeah, that'd
you
be
don't know
very
anybody. You have
lonely.
to get around and people are just asking you to get naked and then put a bunch of makeup on your face and you're kind of like,
How competitive
other
were all
things
the
to
other
do.
girls?
How what?
How competitive were the other girls? Would it be like your stereotypical like
Ooh.
Mean Girls type thing? Like it's like everyone talking behind each other's back type thing?
Okay,
or...
so no, but you could. It was all like internal though. You could like feel it. It was about confidence. It was like who could have the most confidence in being like the nicest to each other. Does
So
that
you
make
could feel the
sense?
tension like in the room.
Kind of,
it's-
and it wasn't ever like bad, but it was everybody was very kind of like who can stand up straighter and like
Really?
yeah.
But like, where does that like come?
Well, that's what you do. You're
Yeah.
there. You're there to be looked at to do that.
So you want to
it
make
was-
sure you're always on point type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
like-
I had to wear, when I would walk into a big building for a casting, wherever it was, it doesn't matter, I was told I had to wear my heels down the sidewalk and into the building. So it doesn't, if anybody could see you. So you can't even have that image of being outside of doing something there, not looking like a model and walking around in heels.
Right.
So I would wear my sneakers around from Brooklyn, be on the subway, like putting my heels on and running out the
jeez.
subway. I was like, I can't walk in these. These are really uncomfortable.
There's a lot of walking we did.
Like, my
She wore
roommate-
through her boots. Oh man, we walked like all of Long Island, right?
No, Manhattan.
Sorry,
top to bottom.
Yeah, sorry, bad geography. Yeah, we.
In one day, put holes in my
You
boots.
put holes right through your rain boots, and you were so excited about the rain boots, and we just wore right through them. Because like I was there, and I had, time. Like this was my vacation for like a couple of years, so it lasted a couple weeks, where I was up there, and I mean we've gotten so into walking places, like when we go to New York City, or when we were in Cozumel,
Estonia.
right?
Oh,
Estonia,
Cosmo, yeah.
Finland.
We just walked everywhere.
Just walk everywhere, and you get to see so much of what's on the island there. That because you're not like right into the thick of it, where you're gonna see the same store copied and pasted like one after another.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well,
You get to see the actual lifeblood of New York.
right. You want to like. So when we go places like in New York, you walk to get there. You can go down the alleys and figure out what's going on back here, right? You can just poke around the corner. And then in like say Jamaica, you get like a cab and a beat up van that has like awesome 4-wheel drive or something. And you ask the guy like, where do you live? Like, do you want to like go
To the hospital.
Yeah, show me the places like a normal person that would live here would go. And so that's what we've done with like so many trips. And that's
You just
great. That's
walk.
really
But how you do make money in New York, so you would go to castings, but the other thing they would cast for is people would, like I said, hire models to do things other than like print work or walking runway.
So like standing at like promotional events and stuff.
Yeah.
And...
So I took a job one time so Evan could come visit me. It was St. Patrick's Day. Really lonely. I was like, Evan needs to come be with me. Like, I hate this. And it was a Irish photographer. So he did photographs of Ireland, and it was on St. Patrick's Day. So he hired me, paid me $200 an hour to pour Guinness out of a keg into a cup at his gallery showing in a penthouse on Fifth Avenue
Damn.
for 2 hours. So I made $400 in 2 hours.
Just for pouring Guinness.
And Jameson.
She's
So
been on
Guinness and
Craigslist
Jameson.
every day looking for that same.
And I remember, like, I was like, I'll
I
do
can still
that.
pour.
I'll go do that. And he was like, well, you have red hair. You can come do that. And I was like, great. Put my heels on, and I went up there, and I was like, I don't even know how to pour a beer. I don't even really drink beer. It's only champagne and liquor, and it's like, gave it to everybody, and it was like 2 hours left, and he just wrote me a check for like $400.
That's pretty awesome.
I think the camera just fucking died.
Did you put it in 60?
No.
Now, did you
It's blinking at us.
have too much?
No, I don't think it charged for long enough.
Oh, really?
Oh, it died.
Well, we can charge it, take a break, and then refresh here.
Or
Wi-Fi connects. I mean, we're towards the end anyways. We'll just put a
Yeah.
little...
Yeah.
Oh, I was just getting into your story.
Oh no, we can still continue.
That's all the story was. It was just
yeah.
so like you. That's how you would make money, is having to do these side jobs, and that's how I ended up on TV.
I was
It's
trying.
it's all fake.
Yeah.
I usually interrupt a lot, and I was trying to just like not interrupt, you know, and yeah.
What were the
I don't want it to be
highlights
over yet,
and
yeah.
lowlights of?
So I have the same highlight and low light. I didn't go to Britney Spears' birthday party, but I was invited, and that was quite a highlight.
That's pretty awesome.
So, and then the very end of my career, this was literally the end of it. I had moved home, was back at Nova, and my manager called me, who signed me, who managed the models. She was like, I just got a notification or email from Alexander McQueen. Do you guys know who Alexander McQueen is?
No.
No.
Okay, well, if you know fashion, it's like huge. So
fashion,
right. So it doesn't matter. And she was like, he wants you, like you specifically, to do his lookbook for whatever.
What's
line
a lookbook?
So a lookbook is like a line of clothes.
I remember when she called me when she.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it was
So
a pretty
like,
big deal.
a lookbook is when a designer, they design clothes for a season. Okay, so usually in high fashion, you have 2 seasons of clothes. It's not like H&M where they put out a line of clothes every week, like fast fashion. But they put a book together and they print it where people can look at it. You're like, oh, does this work? Whatever. So to model in a book like that's pretty big. And for McQueen, so she calls me and she was like, he wants you to do it. And I was like, how does he know who I am? Like, I haven't been in New York for 6 months, and apparently the photographer who was shooting the lookbook had an old comp card of mine that I'd done a job for in the past, and he showed it to the designer, McQueen. He was like, I want her to do it. So I was like, great, I will go to New York to do that job. Like, that's huge. And then he killed himself. And then
my
that
God.
was, I know. So we
I didn't see that coming.
But that's like a
shit.
big thing in the fashion industry is McQueen like killed himself, and but that was
Was it
a week
because of
before.
you?
No, I was gonna go do it. I don't know why, but like I was like, he knew who I was, and then he died.
Oh my God.
That's nuts.
That's a heavy hammer to drop right there.
Yeah, and then there's no more McQueen.
And you never got to work with him.
God.
I know.
On the sad side of things, that reminds me of my first day as a manager at my last job. Remember that? That was,
Oh, God.
That was not a friendly tie-in.
Let's not talk about it anymore.
Yeah. No, like the first day, like I got promoted to like a pretty respectable job. But, you know, you get promoted and you make some money, and you're like, this is cool.
Right.
Yeah. The guy killed himself the day I started working there.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
That was. That sounds rough.
All right.
Rabbits are people.
Slaughtering rabbits. Well, at least we got to show the picture before the camera
Yeah.
died of you on there and
Yeah.
stuff.
It was
What-
it was a crazy adventure. I did it because I could. and then-
Would you do it again if you're on your terms?
Yes.
You would.
I probably would. Because I've done it now. When I went there to do it, it was like brand new to me. I was so intimidated, and I had to learn how to do it, and I kind of had to like step out of it and reflect. And I kind of feel like I could go back and do it, but you kind of like top out at 22. You don't really go back and model
I
after
don't know
like
about
22.
that anymore. Like, there's a lot.
Well, to do like high fashion modeling.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
It's like
Never mind. My point's stupid.
It's interesting. Like, we have like all the local models around here that just get their picture taken by a photographer and be like, I'm a model. I mean, like, granted,
I'm a suicide girl.
Yeah.
granted, they're good pictures and they're
Yeah,
quality
of
pictures,
course.
but like they're like I'm a model and I'm gonna go home and make some tea and eat a hot pocket and then I'm gonna take another picture tomorrow.
There's a
I'm
lot of like
model.
Instagram models now.
Yeah, there's
I
a
mean,
fuck
So
ton.
It's
Instagram
like a whole
didn't
new
exist
thing, yeah.
When I was there, yeah, I was
that
there.
would have been great for you,
before-
probably.
I've never saw the point of the Instagram model.
God.
It's always been.
I mean, they're just trying to get their followers up. I mean,
They want a following so they can get a sponsorship and be like, hey, you have a lot of followers here, promote this product every once in a
it's
while.
just a way
have
to
some money.
get
Yeah,
yourself
they never
out there.
last
Though.
long though. Like
No.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of die out.
Not like many of them come back. You know,
Well-
they flash up and like you might see like a commercial on MTV. It's like check out this Instagram,
So
and then
let's-
you're like, you see it in reruns, right? Yeah. You see like you go to that Instagram later and they're like, there's nothing here. That was a
So,
rerun you watched from years
What I
ago.
actually do have that's cool is when I was there in 2008. So we were talking about flip phones earlier, and
Flip phone.
I still had a flip phone when I worked in New York. So what I had to do is when they would email me my castings in the morning, I had a moleskin notebook. And it was like a journal entry every morning. So what I would do is I would write down the addresses and the phone numbers and everybody's information. And I'd get on a website, and it was called HopStop. So I would have to HopStop all the subway directions so I could get from one place to another and like map out my day. So I have this tangible copy of everywhere I went in New York that I handwritten how to get there and like phone numbers and contacts.
That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. So I'd
Nice.
rather have that than like an Instagram. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty
that's like
Yeah.
something memorable.
You can literally track your foot tread.
Literally, yeah.
steps and-
Just
Yeah.
in like a journal book.
Oh, I mean, there's so many apps for that now. Like clearly,
Yeah.
clearly that's not like just like the first idea for that now. Like if we went to like the meeting board with that idea right now, they'd just be like, yeah, we've got like a million options for that. Like, are you kidding me? Which pets.com, we'll use that to track how much dog food you got. And they're like, well, we know.
Shit,
this
there's
guy's got
buttons you
dogs,
can
yeah.
buy from Amazon that have like a Tide
Yeah.
button. You just press it,
Order
and
it
the
in.
Tide will come to your
Yeah.
house.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's bizarre. I can't believe that that's a thing.
It's
Who
crazy.
needs Tide Pods delivered?
Well,
I need some Tide.
I need other things
Press the
delivered
button,
like
it
that.
comes
I guess
not
a
Tide
day
Pods.
later.
Yeah, my concern was that it's not that hard to get on the website and just click it. You know,
Yeah.
like because you get to Amazon.com and the landing page is the advertisement for the buttons that you then buy on the website you already logged into, and
It's
then
just
it
a
gets
lazy-
sent to you, and then you put it on your Wi-Fi connected device, and you have to do that too. You have to set that up.
Probably through your phone, like a Bluetooth, they set up
Right,
your
right,
login
right,
information.
exactly.
How the
attached
fuck am
your
I supposed to
account.
buy trash bags? I don't have my button, but I'm
Yeah.
on Amazon.
Dude, Amazon's scary, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They have like a one-click buy button. Like you
It's-
can like buy it
yeah.
immediately, or you can put it in the cart and choose to buy it in
It's like, no, I don't want to buy that. Holy shit, it's already come to my house.
Yeah, it's already
Like,
here. Yeah, wow. Yeah, but exactly. You're already on the site when you notice that, and then it's like ads on the side for the button, and you're like,
I almost ordered a microwave through Alexa one time. It wasn't even my account. We were just fucking around. And, like Alexa was like, "Okay, microwave is like in your queue or something like that." And we're like, "Oh, holy shit!" Like, it's like a $300 microwave.
I mean, obviously, you just were like, hey, Amazon, please. I mean,
I think it's like on my cousin's account. He just went in and deleted it off of his queue, but it was like it was gonna be there with.
right. Shoot.
It's crazy. Do you think your modeling days would have been different now as compared to back then? Now, like there is like Instagram and things. You think?
Well, yeah, for that reason, and
I don't even know about that. I think just being married for 10 years.
Well, and that- and-
all right, so
hold on.
that's a
we
weird
were
thing to say. We've been married like
that too, but
a few years.
I went to New York right before the recession hit, and I was in Manhattan during the recession. So like work went
That's when I
from like
lost my
here to
job.
here in every industry. So it was
Yeah.
it would be different now.
But that's also why I
amount
got
of
to go
money
up there
they
with
have.
you is because like all the businesses
Yeah.
around here were going out of business, just like nixing people left and right, and then they move
Right.
into liquidators, and you have to listen to them, and none of the liquidators know what anything is like, what
What's going
anything
on.
is, right? They're just there to warm bodies, and you're sitting there and you're like, man, I just got like employee of the month like a bunch of months in a row. This was really working out for me. Like I could have got an apartment. And they're like, by the way, America's out of money. And you're like, I was like, well, it was between an apartment. I had my car paid off, so I had my Saab. That was money. Oh, I wish Saabs were still around.
And so
I love me
my
some Saab 900.
agency kept trying to get me to sign a contract, and there was one thing I wanted them to change in it. It was like a sentence. I was like, I don't like how that's worded. I don't like what that would do, for whatever. Change it. They never changed it. It took them like 8 months. I would remind them. I'd be like, can you change that? I want to sign my contract. I want to be, and I was like part of the agency. I was on the board, whatever. I never signed the contract. So one day I woke up and I called my dad and I was like, I'm done here. Can you please come pick me up? Like I'm done modeling. I'm done with New York. They tried to take money from me.
No.
They did, yeah. No, it was a whole thing because
Damn.
part of the living in the apartments there, it's kind of like an advancement. So when I say I lived there for free, the ball was dropped on their end because they never got to me to sign a contract. I didn't owe them a dime.
So them not changing that wording saved your ass.
Well, not even that. I begged them to rewrite the contract. I was like, I want to be signed. I want to do this, and they never got to it.
So
It took them 8 months, and I was like,
Really?
so
Let's
when
hear
so
this.
when I got up and left, they were like, well, you lived in the apartment for 8 months, and then you were at Ivana's house on the Upper East Side for a couple months, and then we fronted you money for this, and I was like, yeah, well, I didn't sign your contract, and I emailed you multiple times to sign it and rewrite it for me. And I
So why didn't they? They
Never
just
heard from them again. Never. That was it. I was
like,
like, going back to school. All right.
Damn.
Got that in.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
How
crazy
come I never heard
life.
about that?
You did. It wasn't a big deal because I
Well,
never signed
you
a
know-
it was never a big deal.
Right, you never,
the
like,
Mike Cooper thing.
explained
You know,
it
like it was
like
never
that.
like an incident like that because there's no contract signed. So yeah.
It's a pretty crazy world, like the whole.
It is.
modeling.
I'm trying to think if there's anything like funny. I was there when the plane hit the Hudson River. I was in Chelsea.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I don't-
Sully, the movie Sully.
Oh,
Where the airplane
okay.
crashed
I got you.
In
Yeah.
the water, right?
With Denzel Washington.
No, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
It was just,
Yeah.
okay, I'm thinking of a different one. Where,
Oh, that's
Denzel
a,
Washington.
where he goes
Tom
upside
Hanks.
down.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I gotta show. I
So-
don't have it on me, but there's a picture. My grandfather looks exactly like Tom Hanks. People come over to my house and they like
Oh,
whip
yeah.
at the wall. And be like,
Oh yeah, no, I know what
You-
picture.
You've
I know
seen that?
Yeah,
I think
exactly
you
what
asked
picture.
about it one
Yeah, I
time.
definitely asked. I was like, "Is that Tom Hanks over there?"
which is cool. Like I love Tom.
Dude,
Hanks.
it's like
He's the
it's
best.
legit.
Yeah.
It looks like Tom
Yeah.
Hanks. Like, is Tom Hanks in your family?
Yeah,
What the
it's pretty
fuck?
awesome.
So I was on the west side of Manhattan when the plane crashed into the river. That was a whole ordeal.
Damn.
So I think that's the only thing that happened there.
So, say you guys were married then at that time, would that affect like how people hired you and stuff? Like I'm imagining like the scummiest people behind the things. Like, oh, but
Yeah.
you're married, but we need you to sell the image of you single so we can sell more stuff.
I don't think being married would change that. It would. I guess it would really be how I acted. Like if I acted like
Oh,
I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
do
sure.
something, you know, like oh I have a ring on my finger, I can't take my shirt off. Clearly I'm not going to get any work, but
Right.
I think
I mean,
like
there's
as
gotta
long
be
as
guys
we
out
were
there, though,
okay
that
with
still
it,
would
it
be
would.
like, no, you probably should though.
But there were a lot of creeps. I dealt with a lot of.
Yeah.
Had my ass grabbed a lot.
All right, creepiest story.
We got a photographer fired one time. Me and
Yeah?
that girl Kelsey, that other model. Yeah, we'd done multiple jobs for him. Like I said, you go to people's apartments or their private studios. None of this is in a public setting. This work that you do. So there's like a team of people.
Right.
I was also there during the recession. So what that meant was they would hire as few people as possible to do a job. So like they would hire one person to do hair, makeup, styling. So yeah, it was like two people there. So I think that one weird, I don't remember his name, but he was grabbing Kelsey like all over
Really?
during like one shoot, and she went and like reported it or something. And then during one shoot, I think I was like totally naked except for wearing underwear. And there was this gay guy doing my makeup, and they kept talking about my ass. And I was like, well, they're gay. It's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, everybody else is naked here. And then they start like grabbing my ass, and they're like, make a gay man turn straight for that. And I was like, can you please stop touching my butt? Yeah, so I mean, it was a lot of that. Nothing really like gross, you know, or like scary. Oh, the train.
Body painting, right?
The body paint-
You only had to body paint once, and then you were like, I'm done with the body painting.
I had to do a job in Harlem one morning. It was like I had to get up at 6 and go from Brooklyn to Harlem, and I get on the back of a train. Nobody's on it. It's like Saturday morning, except for a really drunk old man. And he's on one end of the train. I'm the only other person in the train. You could see through the door into the other train, and it's like a 40-minute train ride up. So I'm sitting there, and he is like yelling at me. He's drunk. He's drunk. So I'm
the salad guy?
Yeah. So I'm also
Salad guy?
Yeah, hold on.
He's
So
got a
I'm kind
name.
of like, I'm there. I'm like, I don't know what his deal is. He's probably been on this train all night drinking liquor or something, you know. And he's just like falling over and just like, and so I'm sitting in the corner. I'm like, I just got to get to Harlem. He gets closer and closer to me, and he gets up in like across the bench from me, and you can smell vodka on him and stuff. And I was just like, I'm just gonna go move trains the next time we stop. And we weren't stopping for a while. And he looks at me and just goes, You anorexic salad hoe. And then he would just look at me and he'd be like, you're an anorexic salad hoe. And I was like, excuse me? And then literally, I was like,
Yeah, that story comes up.
I was like, what is this?
Damn.
And then the train stopped, and I guess some man on the train they could see through saw him like getting closer to me and like yelling at me, and I was just sitting there like, what are you gonna do? Like, and so he came in and like sat with me Just a
Oh, that's nice
another
of him.
another like older guy, and just like
Right.
stood there to be like, what are you doing? And then he got pulled off the train.
So many stories.
Anorexic
No.
I
salad
was
hoe.
like, that's good. I'm gonna use that so much.
It's just like your username on like Instagram or something.
I'll make an Instagram now. It'll be
Slide,
I
backslash
like that.
anorexic salad. Huh?
Only for that.
Yeah. Check that page out.
Damn. I feel like that's a perfect story to wrap things up too.
Yeah.
Because it's over an hour. That's a good highlight.
Anorexic salad.
That's good.
Anorexic salad hoe.
That guy's drunk mind was on point that night.
I know. The guy has no idea how much of an impact he had on your life right now. Like,
I still tell the story.
yeah. Like, he wasn't thinking at the time, it's like, man, 10 years from now, she's going to be telling this story about how I call her anorexic salad hoe.
I think he was like blacked out at the time, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, he was not coherent.
What if you went back to New York and found him and, like, you're eating a salad, like, what of it?
That'd be really funny. Can I wear a fat suit and do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd even
While
better.
still eating the salad.
Things have changed.
Oh, what kind of like McDonald's salad? It's like
It's crispy chicken.
on top with bacon. Like, would you like your salad with ranch, with bacon, with cheese, and a piece of crispy chicken?
Or all of it on
with 2 buns on the side? Is that asking too much? We can like.
You want some mayo as dressing?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Let me get the mayo and the buns on the side. It's fine. I'll go to the pump for the ketchup and mustard. Jeez.
Well, sweet. Well, I'm glad you were able to tell us and share all these stories and
Thank
stuff.
you. This was
And
fun.
thanks for being on again, Evan.
Yeah, man.
Leslie,
Happy to be here.
Thanks for being on. Thanks for sharing stories with us.
Anytime.
Anytime.
It was fun.
Anytime.
Thank you.
We got the corner piece back up there too, so
But the camera
Yeah.
kids,
you should be back into business.
can't believe we let the camera die again. That's our second time.
So it's off right now.
Oh well.
Yeah, I take fault for that. I mean, it was the last 10 minutes, so.
I mean, when I looked at it, it seemed all right to me.
Yeah,
I
it seemed
saw
like full
all the
battery.
charge on it, and it was like, yeah.
But that camera does it so you can't. I was just explaining to Evan, you can't leave it charging while recording. Remember we tried doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
weird. It was a weird GoPro thing where I've used like her Polaroid that she used to have.
Can't.
It
is
explained to me
so
because it's like waterproof and like it doesn't like none of that stuff.
The Polaroid was waterproof too. It was just something on the chipset that
Yeah,
would
it doesn't-
switch on and
No,
off.
it had to
Once
be in
you
a
open that
box.
lid, it doesn't want to do anything.
Polaroid had to be in a box to be waterproof.
Well, I mean, okay, fine. Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
I thought you meant just the thing itself.
No, I think.
Oh.
I think. Well, I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Alrighty, guys.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in on another
Yeah.
episode of Burr Pod. Let's take a break.
Bye.